When they first arrived on the scene in the 40s, they were quirky little military cars known as Peeps, Beetlebugs, Blitz Buggies, and Leaping Lenas. Decades later, these unique machines have endeared themselves to millions and are now some of the hottest-selling vehicles on the road. The Jeep was drafted into service during World War II. The Army put out the word to all automakers that it was looking for a lightweight yet dependable vehicle for the battlefield. But what should these unique buggies be called? The actual origin of the Jeep name is still up for debate. Some say it came from the term General Purpose Model. Shortened, it became GP. Others say it came from the Popeye cartoon character Eugene. He was neither fish nor fowl, but could solve all kinds of problems. The Jeep was an incredible machine. During the war, it had many purposes. It served as an ambulance, a battle truck, and a mail carrier. It could dig trenches or serve as a wash basin. It even doubled as a wedding altar. General Dwight D. Eisenhower said the U.S. and its allies would never have won the war without the Jeep. At the end of the war, Willys was the only automaker left producing Jeeps. Many people predicted this old workhorse would be put out to pasture, but not so. Returning soldiers were reluctant to leave behind these wartime sweethearts. Soon used and new Jeeps were proving their worth in civilian life. Willys offered all sorts of modified Army Jeeps. They were station wagons, pickup trucks, and convertibles. The jet-setting group even got a two-door sports car, the Jeepster. By the early 1950s, Willys was a household name, but changes were ahead. Henry J. Kaiser bought the company and renamed it Willys Motor Incorporated. Willys tried out bigger and more powerful engines in the Jeep. People were realizing the usefulness of this mighty machine. The vehicle's popularity grew. The Jeep was sold in 150 countries. With the turn of the 60s, Willys totally redesigned the Jeep. This was the first Jeep built from the ground up without military influence. There were several different Jeep models. Despite the diversity, the Jeep lineup was in trouble. During the 70s, the Toledo assembly plant was outdated and inefficient. In February of 1970, American Motors Corporation bought the Kaiser Jeep Corporation for a total price of $70 million. Under AMC, Jeep blossomed. Daily production nearly tripled. Production was split up. Civilian Jeeps were made in Toledo. Military units were made in South Bend, Indiana. The odd little Army vehicles were now equipped with all of the everyday creature comforts: leather interiors, air conditioning, AM/FM radios, and other modern accessories. It was in 1973 that AMC introduced one of the most renowned Jeep vehicles, the Cherokee. This model came in both a two-door and four-door style and appealed to the sports car crowd. Jeeps weren't just for work, they were for fun. People drove them to the beach, for shopping, to the office, and Sunday drives. But while the Jeep business was booming, AMC's business wasn't. In 1986, Chrysler stepped in and bought AMC for $3 billion. The Jeep lineup was a gold mine. Within 7 years, Chrysler was offering a variety of Jeep products, including the hot-selling upscale Grand Cherokee. For more than a decade, Chrysler has produced Jeep vehicles. These sport utilities appeal to the young and old, men and women, and all professions. Part of its charm is in its rich history, rugged reputation, and fun-loving image. But Jeep won't rest on its laurels. It will continue to be the four-wheel drive leader worldwide. Because Jeep, there's only one.
Cherokee has just been reborn. It can now be ordered with a 4-liter, 6-cylinder, 173-horsepower engine. Nothing in Cherokee's class even comes close. In fact, with this engine and a choice of 2 or 4 doors and 2 shift-on-the-fly 4-wheel drive systems, you could say nothing's in Cherokee's class.
Jeeps have found their way into the hearts of many women across the country. The standard power steering helps make Cherokee easy to park and maneuver. The turning radius is only 35.5 feet and is comparable to that of an ordinary passenger car. Standard power brakes can be augmented on the 4-liter engine models with the addition of an anti-lock brake system. Standard power for Cherokee is the 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine, effective but I do recommend the upgrade to the 190 horsepower 4-liter inline 6-cylinder engine. With the addition of the trailer tow group, the 4-liter Cherokee can tow up to 5,000 pounds. Cherokee utilizes a unique suspension called QuadraLink that combines a solid front axle with coil springs and 4 locating arms. The results are excellent stability, handling, and control, both on-road and off. Let's look at Cherokee's standard equipment list now. Jeep Cherokee, on the road and beyond. As it is in a country club. Grand Cherokee is the only sport utility vehicle to ever make Car and Driver's 10 Best list. Grand Cherokee carries the Cherokee name to expanded heights of comfort and luxury, yet still providing reliable Jeep performance. From the exterior, the most notable difference of Grand Cherokee from its cousin is the restyled front end that houses the standard 4-liter 190 horsepower inline 6. But tipping the balance of power is the 220 horsepower 5.2-liter MPI V8, the only V8 in its class. From a standing quarter-mile start, we trapped the Grand Cherokee at 16.8 seconds, off only 0.3 of a second from Car and Driver's best runs. The 0 to 60 speed was an incredible 8.1 seconds, off by less than 2 seconds from the Lotus Esprit. Sports car or sports utility car? That is the question. Safety features include 4-wheel anti-lock brake system, driver's side airbag, and high-strength steel beams that reinforce all side doors. Power steering and brakes are naturally standard, as is the well-proven QuadraLink suspension. Grand Cherokee, although as refined and elegant as its Orvis Edition interior is still the trail boss. Let's look at Grand Cherokee's standard equipment list now. Jeep Grand Cherokee, legendary performance from the country club to the mud pits.
With 90 horsepower engine, 4-wheel drive and anti-lock brakes turn even the harshest conditions into a day at the beach. And now get no charge air and a lease rate of just $289 a month with no money down. Jeep Cherokee Sport, the perfect way to turn a wild winter into a mild winter.
Now lease a Jeep Cherokee Sport for just $289 a month with 0 down.
Recently, 4-Wheel and Off-Road magazine tested the latest imports and domestics to determine this year's 4x4 of the year. The winner was then tested against past 4x4 of the year winners to determine the best of the best. They compared power, performance, and handling. And when it was over, Jeep Cherokee stood on familiar ground.
Jeep Cherokee, factory financing or $1,000 guaranteed rebate available.
Jeep, the toughest 4-letter word on wheels. We built the Jeep for the person who wants to leave roads far behind, tell trails to get lost, and go where the crowd can't follow. And now, for 1973, this tough 4x4 classic is better than ever. For the prospect who doesn't like to stop going just because he's run out of roads, show him how to load up a 73 Jeep and head out where the real fun begins, where the paved roads leave off. Potholes and bumps and ruts can come as they will, and with a greater margin of confidence thanks to the new standard fuel tank skid plate, Jeep's rugged, welded, and riveted frame takes punishment in large doses and comes back for more. Easier to handle, too, with the recirculating ball steering system. Precise, with quick recovery action. The man behind the wheel is handling one of the most maneuverable 4-wheel drive vehicles ever built. Famous Jeep four-wheel drive is built into every Jeep vehicle from the ground up, not added on. New standard electric windshield wipers replace the vacuum type. Convenient.
Hi, what's up, Jeep here. Starting to rain. I'm currently on trail 299.1K here in the Black Hills of South Dakota. Turned around because one, it's starting to rain. Two, there's just still too much snow. You know, we're going through our spring thaw, so the trail's really starting to get mucky, and I just didn't feel good on this trail. Didn't want to tear it up, so I turned around. This is one of my prospects for a goal I have set for myself for trying to find trail here in the Southern Hills, the Mystic Ranger District and the Hells Canyon District. That's a little bit more challenging than what's, around currently. It seems so everything's challenging down here. It's gotten shut down, so I'm trying to go out and find a route that's a little bit more challenging than just your standard dirt road with mud. This one's a good prospect. I'm going to return here in May once the temperatures have risen and the snow's gone and the mud's starting to dry up, and give it another shot. But we don't have anything comparable down here in the Southern Hills to what's up in the Northern Hills that I love. I love going up there, however, it's just like an hour drive for me, and I love driving. I love getting out in the Jeep, but I'd like to find something a little closer to home whenever I don't feel like driving an hour up just to go hit some trails. Northern Hills, they've got some great trails, such as Camp 5. And Iceman.
That was right on rocker, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And Jake, one of my personal favorites. Comparable to what they got up here, down here, but I figured it's worth a shot, and it's not like I'm wasting any time. I get to be out on the trail all the time. Not much has changed on the Jeep. It's really starting to come down, and I'd like to get off this trail and still halfway through. So I'm going to keep on keeping on. I hope everybody gets out and has a great time.